Hello team and welcome back to the channel. So before we start the video, I would request you please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now this video is going to be really useful for people who are looking for DevOps jobs as well as people who wants to transition to DevOps. As you know, when you are going for DevOps interview, the first question that they are going to ask you is what were your DevOps tasks on daily basis. Okay. So that's why I'm making this video to explain you in detail along with proper architecture and real-time examples what were my DevOps tasks on daily basis. Okay, so this list I have combined with respect to my previous company as well as my current company so that I can give you the real-time examples which will help you to understand. And along with the example, I'm also going to show you a proper design or architecture in a diagrammatic way so that you can understand it in the most easy possible way. Okay, so make sure to watch this video till end, as well as if you need any documentation, just let me know. I'll put it in my Telegram group so you can check it out. Okay, now with that being said, let's get started. Okay team, so what I'm going to explain now is the real-time task. It's not copied from ChatGPT. The real things that I used to do, I'll explain you with proper diagrammatic structure and design. Okay. So first task that okay, before any task, let me tell you what exactly happens. As soon as we log in, first thing that I'm going to do is open my Outlook to check mails. Okay, whatever, like if any task is like pending from yesterday or if any new task come based on that. So for that reason, I'll first open my Outlook and check for if there are any new tasks or any updates are there. Okay, just to stay updated with the all different kind of things that are happening. Okay, after that, first thing that I used to do is like do pod management. Okay, now what exactly do I mean by pod management? So for that, what happens, like let's say our applications have been deployed on Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so on regular basis, what happens from Kubernetes cluster, we are going to receive email notifications. Okay, let's say I have 3 clusters, which is like dev, QA and production. Okay, so let's say we have multiple applications deployed to different clusters. So from each cluster, we are going to receive notification over email mentioning which specific project pod is like having any kind of issues. Okay, so as soon as I receive that information, I will first figure out which of the project is having issues. Then I will log into my Kubernetes cluster and check, go inside that project and check for those specific pods which is having issues. That's what I have mentioned here. You can see pod management. So we will receive notification over mail about the projects where pods are having issues. Okay, then I will go inside that specific pod, check the issue. Okay, generally the issue that comes is like crash loop backoff error. Okay, so crash loop backoff error is a kind of issue that may happen because of multiple reasons. Okay, sometimes it's like a some backend issue is there inside the pod. So for in those cases, what we need to do, we need to go inside the pod logs, check the logs, and based on that log, we decide what exactly we need to do. Okay, so this is one of the tasks that I used to do on regular basis, but yeah, you can see this is a completely real-time thing. Okay, so as soon as I receive the notifications, I'll go inside the Kubernetes cluster, go to a specific project, and inside that project, I will open the pod and check the logs. Whatever the issue is there, based on that, I will decide what exactly I need to do in order to fix the issue. Okay, so this is what I used to do. This is one of the tasks that I used to do, pod management. Okay, talking about next task. So let me open it. Yeah. So like next we have, let's talk about CICD, which is one of the most common tasks that you need to explain. Okay, now you one thing that you need to remember is that not every day you are going to write pipeline in scratch, right? Let's say 2 scenarios. So one is there completely new project is being set up where obviously you need to write the CICD pipelines from scratch, right? But there is second scenario where you have joined a project which is not new, pipelines are already existing. Then what are the tasks that you need to do with respect to pipelines, right? So basically what I used to do sometimes, like my manager used to call me and say me, Ki Aditya, there is this new tool, kindly test it along with the Jenkins pipeline. Okay, so obviously I'm not going to write this pipeline from scratch, the existing pipeline, the lower environment pipeline. What I'm going to do is like add those new feature or new stage in that pipeline and test the feature of that new tool. Okay, so that is like modification of the pipeline, and that's exactly one of the tasks that I used to do. That means we don't write the pipelines from scratch. Instead, what we do, we modify the pipeline to test any new feature or new tool. Okay, that is one task, right? In addition to that, what we are going to do is make sure that whatever pipelines we have is running fine. Okay, if there are no, like there should not be any issues. If there are any issues in the pipeline, we need to make sure that we are fixing it. Okay, so this is the general task that we used to do with respect to CI/CD pipelines. But obviously, if you are going into a completely new project, there you need to create pipelines from scratch, and the pipelines that you need to create, the stages is mentioned on this screen. You should definitely see that, and the flow that you should explain in interviews is the same flow that I have mentioned here. Okay, so that is the second task that I would explain that I used to do with respect to CI/CD pipelines. Okay, now coming to third task. So third task, which happen in every single company, and any project is like incomplete without it. Basically, there is a term known as DSTM. Okay, DSUTM, which is short for DSTUM, which is short for daily stand-up meeting. What it means is like let's say we are having 10 team members in a team. Okay, so every day after a certain period of time, let's say around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, we will have a call where every team member will join and they will discuss their own task, like what they did yesterday, what they are doing today, and what is their blockers. Blockers means if they are doing certain tasks, at what point they are stuck. Okay, so if they so that the reason for mentioning this kind of information, so that if other team members are present there and if they could help with their blocker, then they will help it. Okay, also managers also join this kind of call, so that managers are also up to date with the task every team member is doing. Okay, so this is only a daily stand-up meeting where you discuss your task and blockers or whatever, those kind of things. Okay, second thing that happens with respect to disturb, not exactly disturb, so there is a weekly call. Okay, not every day. Disturb happens every day, but there is a weekly call that happens once a week where other team members also join a call. That call is known as ops meeting, or you can even call operational meeting. Basically what happens, there is a separate team for infra, there is a separate team of developers. So in order to make sure that all the different teams are aware what is going on, which task, like what kind of project people are working on, what kind of task is going on, so to keep everyone updated, there is a specific call happens once a week, which is known as ops meeting. You can say all the different team will join and they will discuss, okay, we are working on these things, then DevOps leaders will say we are working on these things, like that. So this is one of the tasks that happens every day where you need to make sure that you are taking part. Okay, coming to next one. So next one, what I want to explain you is the repo management. Basically repository management. Okay, now again, there could be two scenarios in repo management. Okay, there could be two kind of repo existing. One is like you are like there is a completely new project which you have joined, and there you get the task that you need to perform repo management. Okay, now what exactly do I mean when I say repo management? So basically, let's say you have joined a new project. Okay, so in that new project, what you need to do is create repository, create multiple branches like dev branches, then we have QA branches, then PPT branches, then master branch for production environment, right? Then DR branches. You will create branches. Then what? Let's say we have one project. Inside that, we need to have multiple repositories. So what we do in that case, we create a group. Okay, for example, let's talk about GitLab. So in GitLab, we have an option to create a separate group inside which we can put our multiple repositories, relevant repositories we will put. Okay, and then what we do, we create a separate group for users. So we can provide different level of permission, like someone will just have read access, someone will have the maintainer access, these kind of like permissions we give. Okay, so this is the case of new project. When you are joining a new project, this is the way, this is the kind of task that you are going to do with respect to repositories. Okay, talking about second scenario where you have joined a project where repository is already existing. So what kind of task you may do with respect to repository is like they may ask you to remove these tail branches. There may be some branches that may exist that people created long ago, which is not at all being used and which is of no use at this point. So they may ask you to kindly remove these stale branches from the repository. That is one task. Second task, they may ask you to kindly make sure that there are no pull requests pending. If any pull request is pending, make sure to update other people or whoever has created or whoever is going to approve the pull request, those kind of things. Okay, other than that, obviously, like since we are writing pipeline codes and configuration codes, So we need to make sure that we are on regular intervals time, whatever we have, we are committing it to the correct branch and making sure we are providing correct commit message, so that everyone is on the same page and everyone knows what exactly is happening. Okay, so these are some common tasks that you will do with respect to repository, that is repo management. Okay, now let's talk about the other task. So let's talk about troubleshooting. So when you are going for interviews, you should not directly say, okay, I used to troubleshoot things. No, do not say like that. You should explain in this format that, let's say you are providing certain services to a client. Okay, let's say we are providing a platform for a client which contains like Jenkins, SonarQube, those kind of tools. And suddenly what happens, the client is facing some kind of issues with Jenkins tool, right? So what does he do? If he directly contacts you, that is not the correct process. The correct way is that client will raise the 𝗘𝗏 ticket, then that you will be getting notification, okay, new 𝗘𝗏 ticket has been raised. Then what you need to do is basically you need to start like assign that ticket first yourself, right? Then you will connect to client, then you will ask what exactly is the issue he's facing. Then you will help the client to understand what kind of issue is there and how you are going to fix it. If it is possible for you to fix, you will quickly fix it. If it is not possible for you to fix, then you will take help from your senior team member. Okay, here also in troubleshooting there are basically multiple kind of 𝗘𝗏 tickets. Okay, but I'll explain you the three most common kinds which you should know. First is incident, then we have support, then we have task. Okay, so incident is basically a kind of ticket that is of high priority and needs to be resolved as soon as possible within few hours. Okay, then we have support kind of ticket. So support kind of ticket is not of high priority but medium or low priority, which you can take some time to fix. Okay, then we have task. So sometimes managers may give you some specific task that you need to do. So those kind of tasks basically those kind of tickets are created just for you to log your time. Okay, 9 hours I worked on this task, 4 hours I worked on this task. Okay, so these three kinds of ticketing tickets you should know. Okay, now let's talk about the other thing. Okay, so now let's talk about POC, which is one of the most useful scenario which you can use in interviews. Okay, the scenario that you should use in interviews, let's say for example there is some new tool that you are not 100% aware of. Okay, but you just know the basics and still you want to mention that tool in your interviews. In that case, you know what you can do? You can mention that I was given a POC to create a demo using that tool. Okay, POC is short for proof of concept. Now let us understand what the scenario. The thing that happens in companies, like every team member is assigned once a month one specific task which is like POC. So let's say they wanted to use some new tool in their pipeline, for example like Vault, but the team is not completely aware that how to use Vault and how we can start integrating it with our pipeline. Okay, so in that case basically what we do, some manager will assign a POC to us and ask us to create explore the tool and create a demo along with a documentation. Okay, so in that case what we will do, we will install the tool, set up on our own machine, start exploring it, work with it. Then we will create a complete detailed demo as well as documentation, which then we will pass to our managers or do a presentation kind of thing among our team members, so that now everyone knows, okay, this is the tool, this is its purpose, and in this way we can integrate that tool in our pipeline. So that is known as POC. Now the thing is, for example, the kind of POC that I used to get is like GitLab Sonar integration. Some of you may not have heard, but there was an POC that I did long ago along with my friend, and there was then POC create a Sonar plugin. So for example, like you are using SonarQube, manager may ask, okay, you need to create a new jar plugin, you need to install it into SonarQube. That is another POC task. Then we have operators demo. So basically, like when you are working with OpenShift or Kubernetes, there is a specific section of that which is known as operators. There are separate tools that you can install as a operator. For example, like 𝗭𝗏𝗏𝗃 is also an operator which can be used along with Kubernetes or like OpenShift. So these are kind of like POCs that I used to do. Then I need to prepare a documentation, do a video demo to them. Okay, so this is one task that you can mention. Okay, manager assigned some task to me and it took me 1 month to prepare complete demo and everything on it. Okay, Okay, have which is IAC infrastructure as code. Now talking about what exactly I used to do with respect to that. So in companies, basically clients are not allowed to use a VM that is from outside. So usually they are, most companies actually, and usually the companies will ask the clients to purchase a VM. If they want to use a VM, they should purchase the VM which should exist within the company network, right? So as a DevOps engineers, there are few tasks that I used to take care of with respect to like IAC. So let's say a client has a request. Client wants specific like VM. So his request is that it should be, first of all, it should be within the company network first. Secondly, they want that VM to be pre-installed with a tools like SonarQube and Nexus. That is the client request. And client want to purchase 10 VMs at a time. So it's not, obviously it's not possible for me to go and inside each VM and install one by one these kind of tools. So instead of that, what I would be doing, I'll be writing two kind of scripts. First script is going to provision the VM within company network, right? Second script that I'm going to write, which is going to be Ansible playbook. Okay, first script is like Terraform script to provision the VM. Second script that I'm going to write is going to be Ansible playbook, and the main purpose of that Ansible playbook is to install tools like SonarQube and Nexus within the newly purchased VM. Okay, so in this way, and obviously this kind of task is not going to happen every day. Like once in a time, like let's say once a week, some client will come, they will ask, okay, I need to have this VM. But obviously, when you want to explain your task as like IAC, infrastructure as code, this is the best thing that you can explain. Okay, because this is the kind of task that I used to do. Okay, so in this way, we can use IAC, write scripts for Terraform as well as write scripts for Ansible and perform this kind of task. Okay, yeah, so let's move to the next. Now coming to other tasks, so then we have this monitoring. Okay, so basically now thinking about monitoring, it's not simply we are just monitoring the application deployed. That is done, that's fine. Let's consider a scenario there. What happens, like we are selling a product which is a platform integrated with so many different DevOps tools. Okay, so let's say I have sold around like 400 platforms. Okay, so for me to make sure that to understand which tool in that platform, like let's say the platform is having 3 tools, Jenkins, GitLab and SonarQube. Okay, these are like self-hosted on Kubernetes. So let's say using monitoring tool like Grafana and Prometheus and Victoria Metrics, what we can monitor, we can check out ki all 400 platforms, Jenkins, how many plugins are installed in each Jenkins, when was the last job ran, right? So this will help us to understand if where Jenkins is being utilized or not, right? If we saw okay, Jenkins was last used in like 3 months ago, so we can understand okay, this client is not at all using Jenkins, right? And then we can prepare a report like that. Similar with GitLab and SonarQube, we can understand in GitLab like when was the last commit done. This can be done, this we can find out this kind of information using a monitoring tool like Grafana, right? Then we have SonarQube. So similarly in SonarQube also we can find out how many projects are there, when was the last analysis ran, and how many plugins are installed. Okay, so this kind of monitoring that I used to do, and like once we have these information, we used to create a report. Okay, let's talk about the another thing. Let me see which task is pending. I guess we covered all of the tasks. These are like 9 tasks that I just explained you, but there is one more task that you should definitely explain in your interviews, which is going to help you to characterize, like make you like more kind of like interesting for person to the interviewer. How? So basically what you can say that I used to guide my juniors as well as freshers with their issues. For example, like every company, obviously new people will join, so initial like 1 month or so you will be giving KT. Okay, KT is like knowledge transfer or like knowledge transition, you can say. Okay, basically we need to guide them about the project, how things work here, those kind of information. But obviously if you are a senior team member in your project, you can mention okay, I used to help my junior team members with their issues, whatever issues they used to face, I used to help them with that. Okay, so these are the things that I understand that is going to be really helpful for you to understand, as well as to go for interview and explain in your interviews what kind of task you used to do. And whatever I explained you, these are completely real-time examples. These are the tasks that I used to do in my previous as well as current companies. So yeah, if still you are having any kind of issues, doubt, you can just ping me directly in Telegram. as well as if you are looking for a training sessions, you can join my batch 3, which is combination of batch 1 plus batch 2 plus live sessions from batch 3. So make sure check that out. Everything, there is a description of everything, sorry, the link for everything will be in the description, so make sure to check that out. So yes team, that will be all for today. Also one last thing, as you know, we have a Telegram channel. It's completely open, anyone can send any kind of messages, especially technical messages, obviously. Okay, no stupid message. So basically we discuss all kind of technical issues. If someone is having issues, other team members from my Telegram channel will help you out. So make sure to join that. Okay, it's really useful. It's not just to increase my Telegram group members number. Okay, but if you just join, you will find out how useful that Telegram channel is. Okay, so yes team, that will be all, and I hope this video was useful for you. You got to learn something, you understood what kind of task a DevOps engineer does on daily basis. And yeah, make sure to take reference from this video and use this in your interviews. So yeah, that will be all on all, and thanks for watching team, and have a nice day.